好的，各位欢迎回来。
Silent of ball! Blake Widow's doing it! They're gonna take He's gonna bring down Burnley. Alone with a double kill. Dropping fast. Mana points there. He's still alive! Wait, 2 seconds left. He's got 1 sub. He's got a second. He's taking it back. Oh my god! On 3! They're all dead!
Welcome back, everybody. WPC Dota 2 action continues. I'm Gods, joined by Zayuri. It's time for Game 2.
It sure is. Titan looking good in game number 1. HGT, they're going to have their work cut out for him here. I think they just need to reevaluate that strategy. Against an OD, oh boy, you got to put some pressure on him. You can't let an OD get away with brown boots straight into Midas, into Scythe of Ice, no defensive tools, no positioning tools. That should be an easy OD to gank, and I don't even think he died in that game.
He died the one time at top lane when they ganked him from the
Oh,
base,
yes, you're
but
right.
apart from that, no. At the same time, like, I don't feel they won because of the... I think everyone on their team was doing really well. Like, OD could have been any hero in the game, and sure, he farmed, but he didn't actually win the game. It was, like...
That's a fair point.
The Centaur did a lot. To me, the Clinks was, like, kind of the one controlling the game, and then the Centaur and the two supports were just roaming around getting kills. KOXI just farmed.
Yeah, well, that's true. And, well, that Dark Seer also proved to be a little bit of a double-edged sword as well.
Yeah,
He unfortunately contributed to that Clinks getting something like a 13-minute Orchid and eventually ending getting a quick BKB and then grabbing a Scythe of Ice before the game itself ended. So we'll see how they reevaluate the drafts this time, but it was just all about that mid-game timing for Titan. They came online way earlier than that Alchemist Morphling duo, and even though HGT might have had the carry advantage in the late game, Titan didn't let them get there.
No, not the case here. And we'll get ourselves in the Game 2 draft now. HGT... Well, they can look to tie things up here. It is a best-of-2 format in the WPC. Every win's worth the same, though. So winning 2-0 doesn't get you more points than 2 draws. So it's not like you get 3 points for a win and 1 point for a draw. But
yeah,
these are the kind of matches you want to win. Now, with the way that the Eastern Group works, 6 teams will advance to the playoffs, or the round of 8. So 6 teams, I think it's out of 12, and then 2 teams out of 5 for the Western scene.
Okay.
So you get that's how the 8 teams for the round of 8 will be made up.
Okay, 6 from China and then 2 from international, I guess is what it is. Is it what is that bracket called? Is it called international or Europe or what's
just West?
Just West,
I don't
the
know
non-Chinese,
it's the
non-East.
There's no Cloud9's got a couple American players, but it's pretty much all European teams.
Okay, all right.
Including all that.
East versus West, East Coast versus West Coast.
And it's an Asian division because you've got your 2 Southeast Asian teams.
Right, it's not just China. Yeah, okay.
Not just China.
Fair enough. Yep. So Titan will ban out the Invoker, HGT take out the Lycan as well as the Bat Rider, and there you go. Wisp will be the second ban for Team Titan. So
bit of an unusual ban.
Yeah, a little bit interesting. Are HGT known for their EO play? Is that a respect ban coming out here?
Well, this is the first time this team's actually played an official match, so I don't know what they're known for.
Yeah, I don't know.
ZSMJ ran Wisp a couple times back when he was playing with Tong Fu, but it wasn't like a strong strategy of theirs, so I guess Titan just want to make sure they don't get caught out by surprise by anything.
And it seems like the Centaur is that value pick both teams going after. I think he was first picked in both games, last time for Titan, and this time it'll be coming out for HGT.
Yep. Well, Titan also get the Prophet. This here was banned out in the first stage in Game 1. I keep forgetting we're not meant to spoil picks, but they get a Prophet. He's going to be a higher tier for the offlane, so HGT take the Centaur for themselves, Titan get the Nature's Prophet, and this is to me like one of the highest best heroes. He played this all the time during TI3, and has a very unique style of playing it, so we'll see him handling it this time around for Team Titan.
So what is so unique about his style? Does he do like a solo mid, or does he just go an odd item build?
He goes offlane. Like at the time during TI3, like you had your Bulldog style Nature's Prophet, which to me was probably like the best way to play, where you get Treants, you use Treants for scouting, blocking pulls. The way a higher would play is to get teleport at level 1, instantly teleport to the enemy jungle, block off a lot of camps using Observer Wards in unexpected places. And the thing is, they wouldn't realize they'd been blocked because the heroes would rotate out. Like supports, as soon as they go out, they walk to their jungle to defend against warding, but problem is Prophet gets there before them because he goes teleport. Then he will teleport to the cliff. He'll actually do some cliff jungling. Cliff jungling, guys, is bad, but if you go teleport first on Nature's Prophet to get wards down, it's situational.
Your only choice. You can't.
But if you just want to farm, do not cliff jungle. It's very slow, but the thing is, that's how you kind of recover as a Nature's Prophet.
Okay, very interesting. And of course, they did grab Ancient Apparition with their first pick as well. Didn't work out for HGT last game, but AA, I almost think of him as kind of a late game support. He's a little bit irritating. He has a weird chart of utility. Early on, he's really powerful because of Chilling Touch, and in the mid game, he kind of falls off a little bit when Chilling Touch doesn't hurt quite as bad, and his ultimate still hasn't really kicked in. Then all of a sudden, he gets an Ag Scepter, he hits level 11, and then even level 16, and he's the hero that's setting up all the plays, doing all the damage, making Roche really difficult. So he's sort of an odd support in that sense. And, well, last game, HGT they couldn't do much with him, at least not early on when, I mean, he had 4 points in Chilling Touch. He was level 8 pretty quickly.
They weren't getting any kills and weren't taking any good fights. They were always on the back foot. And that's where AA, if you're on the back foot, I feel this hero is not too great.
Yeah.
That's where I feel the AA is a bit overrated. But I feel like support heroes like Shadow Shaman actually can do a lot when they're on the back foot because they can just avoid fights and push towers in other lanes. But a hero like AA, not very good when you're behind.
The one thing he can do well when you're behind is delay pushes. He can be a difficult hero to push into, but that still requires some sort of baseline of farm. Usually that level 2 ultimate or an Ag Scepter. One or the other is that benchmark for when you actually start getting afraid of the Ancient Apparition ult. But if he's in that window where he's only level 8 and it's just a level 1 Ice Blast, it just is not that scary.
And especially considering we're combining the AA with a Nature's Prophet. So you've got both the global ultis, which you've got to imagine Titan will be looking to time together. So any hero who's fairly squishy, who's sitting on like 2/3 HP, gets hit by both of those, could theoretically get blown up from that HP. So Titan may look to combine this with some more long-range initiators, even if it's not global heroes. Just heroes like Storm Spirit go really well with this kind of strategy. So even a Clinks, Clinks is invis, he's waiting to gank a hero, he tells him, hey, throw your ultis, and then he pops out invis and gets the kills, and Titan, they liked their Clinks last game, may go for it again. Yeah, now, the next 4 bans are all kind of interesting. Titan will take out Doom as well as Brewmaster, and HGT, they go for the hard carry Faceless Void, and they'll actually ban out the Morphling they played last game as well. All 4 heroes just interesting. Doom, I guess, he might, at least in my mind, makes the most sense as just a good flex pick that can work in either of these rosters depending on how they wanted to run him. But the Brew is particularly interesting. Is he a popular pick in the Chinese meta? Is he like... He's more popular than in the West.
Okay.
A lot of teams are running him either as mid or off lane, as like a...
Off lane? That's
as like a late pick in the draft.
Yeah.
So he's definitely more picked in the Asian scene. But I think the main thing these heroes have in common is they're kind of tanky and durable, which is something which against AA ulti, Nature's Prophet ultimate, that's not going to do as much to these tanky heroes. They haven't got any real damage output to bring down a hero like a Doom who goes for a fast, like Phase Mech, Shiva's Guard type build. Yeah, and
I guess you worry about a strength core when you already have a Nature's Prophet picked up. I guess usually if you wanted to grab a Timbersaw, he would be in the off lane. You can get away with putting him in the mid, but perhaps something Titan not particularly interested in. So rather than having to deal with tanky heroes without a Timbersaw, they'll just ban them out, which makes a lot of sense if that's strategy they don't want to. They'll go ahead and third pick themselves a Rubik.
Yeah, Rubik decent against Centaur. Pretty easy to steal a Stampede if he's using it to initiate, which is where generally see Centaur look to blink, stun, initiate, and save the Stampede for during the team fight. But decent support nonetheless, so we'll see exactly where they look to put this. One thing we haven't seen Titan pull out just yet is any of the junglers. Extinct, X known for his Chen and Enchantress play, and with Enchantress on the HGT side, he doesn't get access to that, and Chen not as strong when your opponents have an Enchantress, but I'm missing his Chen at least.
Yeah, I'm pretty curious to see what HGT will grab with their next pick here. Pretty open-ended draft. They've got their offlane covered, their first support, but still a lot of options. I have to imagine the Shadow Shaman will be something that they'll want to consider here, as you were talking about in the last game, a pretty popular support in this meta.
Especially when you've got the Enchantress already, you want to get some more pushing power. So,
more pushing power and some more disables as well. That's where Shadow Shaman really shines. He is a really powerful support, where he doesn't shine as much as he's just slow. He can be kind of... A good Shadow Shaman player makes it look easy to make plays and set up kills, but he's pretty positioning dependent. He can get picked off pretty easily, and he's not very tanky. And
I see him just like the Lion in that sense. Like Lion and Shadow Shaman, pretty slow, bad movement speed, really hard to be in the right position. But if you are, both heroes have 2 great disables. Like they both have Hex. The only heroes in the game with Hex. correct? Yes. I
Yes.
feel like I should. That should be like a no-brainer.
That feels like
I-
a trick.
I
The
want-
way you pitched it felt like a trick question.
No, I
like,
wanted to. I wanted to just straight up say it, but I was like, wait, am I forgetting about a certain hero that also has Hex?
just
No,
the
no.
just the piggy staff. That's the only.
Yeah, And Hex. I mean, you pay 6,000 gold to buy a Hex, and these two heroes have a built-in Hex, so
Yeah.
that's obviously worth a lot to, as far as picking them. But they're both very squishy and easily picked off.
Yeah, I like that each hex is a different animal as well. That the voodoo is a chicken, the lion hex is a frog, and the scythe of ice is always a pig. There's actually rhyme and reason to it. I used to think it was random, and then I started paying closer attention. I was like, oh, wait a tick.
It fits
So-
all fits into the lore.
Yeah, and it's also just handy if there's like a Scythe of Ice on the same team that has a Shadow Shaman, you know whether it was a Shadow Shaman hex or if it was the Scythe of Ice, whether it's a
Oh,
piggy
that's-
or a chicken.
Actually pretty cool. I
Yeah,
never
it's
thought about
it's
that.
nice.
Okay. We get ourselves further in the draft. It is the Shadow Shaman pick you talked about for HGT, so this works nicely here. And Centaur actually one of those heroes who fits in kind of nicely with push strats, just having the Stampede when you want to disengage, and just a general useful hero to have. So Titan, they get themselves a hero who can actually just straight up fight and engage, and actually works pretty well against Shadow Shaman. That's going to be the Life Stealer. So to me, with the Life Stealer, when they look towards their last pick, they want that, I guess, infest transportation vehicle. Be your Puck, your Storm Spirit. Those are the kind of bands you want to go for HGT. But the problem is, both Puck and Storm still in the pool. So pretty much Life Stealer guaranteed, Titan guaranteed to get at least one of those two heroes if they want it.
Yeah. And those are the kind of two no-brainer choices. I mean, Lifestealer can work with Furion in that front, but not to the same capacity.
The problem is Furion does not want to TP into the enemy team.
Right.
Whereas a Storm, he can zip in, then zip out. Puck
Right.
can blink, he blinks silence, then throws his orb out so he can escape. But as Prophet, you're like,
Yeah.
you're trapped.
Prophet can bring him kind of to the vicinity of the battle, but in the context of the Infest Bomb, not really a great
Yeah.
delivery. So
I think there aren't many other obvious blink engages. So yeah, it's going to be a Storm. That's... Oh, well, spoiler, it is a Storm.
Jesus, dude.
I always forget. I get caught up in my train of thought and just spoil heroes, but it's
boy.
it was such an obvious pick in the sense if Titan didn't pick it, it's because they were trying to go for something a bit unconventional.
Yeah. You just get too excited when you see your predictions coming true.
Yep.
It is a different mentality having that kind of using the delayed stream. It's just
Jeez, look at that Lifestealer AA Prophet combined win rate.
wow.
All these heroes are struggling in this current patch.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
I mean, they're all just around that 50% mark. So Lifestealer is actually the one who's struggling the most.
I guess I'm surprised at how low it is across the three of them. I'm not surprised that it's low, but I would have guessed more like 35% or something. 23 is abysmal. That is
I don't know what the sample size is, so it's probably just like 5, 6, 7 games. And
Yeah.
maybe it's where there was big mismatch in the teams or something. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much you can read it.
Well, one of the things I worry is that Titan just don't have a very crowd control intensive lineup right now. Storm pairs well with the Lifestealer, but Lifestealer is a little bit lackluster compared to some of these new agey carries like our Ember Spirits that we've been seeing in the West. Lifestealer is still a good hard carry, but he's so single target focused, and some of these other hard carries can just put out a lot more damage, simply put. And Nature's Prophet, a similar plight that he has. He can do a lot of single target damage, but at the end of the day, he ain't no Ember Spirit. Well, we'll see him 5th picked here by HGT.
Yeah, so we get an Ember Spirit mid against the Storm, and this is, if we see that, I wonder what build. Most of the Chinese Ember Spirits have been going more Flame Guard build, which I'm a bit sad they haven't picked up onto the kind of Arteezy Sing Sing style build where you get the Slider Fist plus Searing Chains, the bowlers.
Yep, those bolas. And here we go. Nature's Prophet. He's off to the races. Ohio going to make you proud here, gods. Teleport level 1. He's got the wards, and he'll block out this hard camp, this medium camp.
He loves doing this.
Sneaky devil.
This is where he has a unique style of playing this Nature's Prophet.
Okay.
I think at TI3 he was pretty much the only one doing this. I think maybe I can't remember one other team who was maybe doing this a little bit as well, but he's blocking the entire jungle. And he puts them in slightly unusual spots as well, that are a bit harder to deward. So
Yeah, these are definitely ward locations I don't really recognize from the West. I mean, on occasion you see some similar kind of placement, but I really like this ward in particular right here. It gives you vision of the rune, and actually, does it give you vision of the rune?
I don't think so. No.
Now, I thought it did at first, but now that I'm looking, it's this one tree over here. It gets right in the way. So okay, not quite as crafty of a ward spot as I thought, but still will block the camp. Not too bad.
Yeah, I wonder if this observer ward here gives any vision. Okay, this I was about to say if this ward vision here at the big cap like gave vision down here, it'd be pretty nice.
Yeah.
But it doesn't quite get it. It's in fog. So.
Yeah. So there's sort of two sides to it. One is that, well, even though it doesn't give vision, it will be more difficult to deward because you have to eat a tree somewhere to get there. And that's where, if you don't have an early quelling blade, you don't really want to burn through more than one tango to be able to get a ward. So, very interesting.
We'll introduce our two teams. It is going to be on the Radiant side. Teams Hyper Glory team. We've got Kaka playing the off-lane Centaur, and the mid lane is going to be 1-2-1 playing the Ember Spirit. We've got, in the safe lane, it looks like a Jungle Enchantress being played by ZSMJ, XTT playing the Farming Weaver, and then finally, Pretty Hawk playing the support Shadow Shaman. They've got 2 sentries, and these need to succeed.
Absolutely. And on the dire side, we've got Team Titan. In the mid, it will be NWP playing on the Storm Spirit. Playing on the Rubik will be Extinct. Looks like he's headed up towards that top lane. Lifestealer will be played by KYXY in the safe lane farming role. Net will be on the support Ancient Apparition. And it will be Ohio playing on the Nature's Prophet. And he's doing a little bit of cliff jungling here on these Alpha Wolves, like you mentioned. Yep. Usually not ideal, but a necessity if you want to do this early warding strat.
Yeah.
And whoa.
Very early on. They caught that center out there.
They sure did.
Chilling Touch, Telekinesis, and he actually got level 1 Open Wound, so that's actually provided the extra bit of slow there. Well, we've had our first slip of today. We've missed First Blood, Andrew.
Yeah. Well, that's the power of the Chilling Touch, and we talked in that in the drafting stage about Ancient Apparition. He peaks really high in the early levels when Chilling Touch is tilted, and then kind of dips down in the mid-game, and then comes way back with the ultimate in the late game. So already, Titans seem to be using this AA a little bit more effectively than HGT did in the last match, and looks like they'll take heed from the game we saw prior, as Kaka just tries to rotate into the jungle with this Centaur, but he'll be disappointed alongside this Enchantress that there are very few creeps to work with.
This Observe Ward you're talking about, the one you really liked, sure it doesn't see the rune, but it's not getting dewarded, even though it's in range of the sentry, just because they don't actually see it. Because generally you put this ward like right here in the camp to see the rune as well as block it, but that's where they thought it was, but they're not getting the deward off, and what a sneaky little ob spot that Ohio's found.
Yeah, really like that. So there is a smoke from the Enchantress as well as Shadow Shaman, but they're both only level 1. Enchantress is creepless at the moment, unless there's one hiding about that I haven't seen.
All the dewarding failed. Both sentries did not succeed.
Yeah, so this is really unfortunate. Now, ZSMJ will move to the high ground, and they're just going to try and invade Titan's jungle. They might be able to find Net, but they just don't have the crowd controls in the front line. There is a Shackle online for Pretty Haw, but he won't be able to catch up, and
he had to come with the Enchantress, because Enchantress going into the enemy jungle alone would have been a bit of a suicide mission, and that's the only place there's any creeps on the map right now.
And so now this is just really bad news for the Enchantress. They'll have to share this one small Hellbear in terms of experience out of the gate, and that won't be close to enough to get Enchantress even halfway to level 2. And there are enemies inbound, and they need to be a little careful here.
This gives Nature's Prophet an easy time in the offlane, because he knows the supports were forced to rotate top. Not just Enchantress, but Shadow Shaman had to go with the Enchantress pretty much as a bodyguard to get into this jungle, giving him a 1v1 matchup against this Weaver. So at this point, Titan are doing well top, they're doing well bottom all of a sudden, and mid lane, well, pretty evenish matchup. Ember Spirit versus Storm, both with about 15-16 CS, so all 3 lanes going really well for Titan in the early game.
Yeah, and they'll go ahead and kill that Hellbear Smasher as well. Now, the sentries have despawned, so there is going to be an Ogre camp as well as a Centaur camp that Enchantress can make use of, as ZSMJ is on the high ground. Perhaps thinking about setting up a kill, could maybe snipe the Courier here. Yeah, just has himself the Mind Stealer, but it's already past the 3-minute mark. Courier will get upgraded, and won't make for an easy snipe as NWP just bottle crows very safely here. Enchantress wasting a lot of time, but not much else that he can do, to be perfectly honest right now.
He'll throw another mana burn out, but Yamate, he's actually going to finish off the Mind Stealer, so gets himself 20 gold, rotates back mid, didn't get too bothered by that whatsoever. And Lifestealer already with phase boots in before 4 minutes after getting that first blood at top lane.
There is a smoke rotation from Net as well as Extinct. On the Rubik and Ancient Apparition, looks like they may want to just engage on top. Kaka in a pretty decent position right now. They will station behind the tower. And once this creep wave presses forward, I think they'll go for the dive. There's the open wounds to start things off. Telekinesis and Chilling Touch will make this an easy kill. Rubik the one to grab that last hit. And now in comes the Nature's Prophet, and they'll just try and transition this into an easy Tier 1 tower push.
Yeah, really smart play, Titan. These 2 games have just been won from the laning stage, and from the draft. I mean, this game not won. We're still 4.5 minutes in, but the early game has been won for Titan. That's the key thing here. Titan one of the best teams the first 5-10 minutes of the game, and it came entirely from the strategy. Ohio's warding, shutting down the Enchantress jungle, forcing the rotations, and giving Ohio that easy lane in the off lane. Like, once he hits level 2, he TP's back there, and he's good to go. How to get together a camping at this bottom lane, or Hyper Glory team, I should say, and there's no one down here because Prophet just pushed the top tier 1 tower, and Titan, 5 minutes in, have themselves a big lead.
Yep. Now, this Ember Spirit has been farming very well in the mid lane, and it looks like we could see a rotation. Nope, just going to move back into the jungle. I like that this Shadow Shaman is literally just following around the still level 1 Enchantress. A complete bodyguard, a great term, and I mean, it feels like a necessity, but still very unfortunate. She's got to share that experience, and I mean, Shadow Shaman really isn't getting much out of this either. But this Ember Spirit is farming pretty well in the mid lane. He's now level 6. He's got a lot of CS. He's 31-7 compared to the 25-4 Storm Spirit, but he is going for this icky Flame Guard build you were talking about, and it just doesn't feel necessary here.
This is the build that most of these Chinese Ember Spirits have been going. I don't think they've quite picked up on the power of the Slider Fist Bowlers combo, but it's still a good build. Like, it helps you in the laning stage, gives you decent farming capabilities as well as just the extra survivability. So it's not a bad build, it just doesn't feel as strong as the other build that we see coming out.
Yeah, and it looks like we'll see a fight break out here. Shadow Shaman will be the first to fall, but after that will be Enchantress. That'll be a double kill coming out for KYXY.
And the Spirit rotating and getting nothing. He couldn't actually kill off anyone there after using the Fire Remnant into the lane from the Ancients.
Yeah, and this is part of the big problem. This is the biggest problem with the build that he's gone for here with the Flame Guard is, yeah, you miss out on the damage from the early Sleight of Fist Bola combo, especially at level 5 with the level 3 and the Bolas, but now you're stuck with the Sleight of Fist on a 30-second cooldown. Part of the power of this ability is hitting level 4, or getting at level 4 at level 7, so that you have it on only a 6-second cooldown. You can just spam that huge AoE harassment, but here it's just a one-and-done, very underwhelming ability, which is what I really don't like about it. Yeah, Flame Guard's great, but you're not playing to the strengths of the hero by just being able to survive.
Yeah, absolutely. And Titans start 4-0, 6.5 minutes in, have themselves a 3k gold lead all of a sudden.
Wow.
That's a scary thought here. HGT, just none of these lanes working out for them. The big thing that I feel they're getting crushed in is experience. ZSMJ was level 2 just now. You both supports level 2. The experience lead is actually not that big, but I think Titan just 5-manning a lot. Looking at the solo heroes for HGT, they're doing well, but their supports,
Ember
they're
in the
struggling
mid.
on levels.
Oh, wow, he'll survive, but Ember taking heavy damage in the mid lane. Will hop to a Remnant now. He'll TP home. Does put the Remnant down before he TP's out, so...
He even used a salve. Like, he TP'd out.
Yeah. It's kind of an odd...
on tilt almost at this point, HGT.
Yeah. But he does survive the gank, which is... it's something. Maybe not the best, but still survives, even though he wastes a salve. So for HGT, yeah, it feels like the level disparity is worse than it is, I think. But even though their supports are rather poor in terms of experience, they've had a lot of solo laners. And this Weaver is pretty high level. He just hit 8 now, has 2 points in the Swarm. And he's having a pretty good time, just going blow for blow with KYXY right now. Looks like an early armlet will come out for the Lifestealer, and Weaver, well, nothing too committal right now. Just Power Treads, Ring of Basilius. Probably looking towards the Lincolns, but hasn't committed one way or the other.
Yeah. Well, as things stand, Centaur is just, he's found himself a decent amount of farm at top lane with the 1k gold after getting an empty lane, but losing his tower, giving up the first blood was not really what he had hoped for there, but as soon as you get that little bit of space, he does manage to make use of it. Now Hearts get together, are looking to pressure this tier 1 bottom tower. They've got 4 heroes here. Tier 1 tower looks like it will be picked up here, so they bring in the Ember Spirit for all these pushes, and with Max Flame Guard, he is very tanky and hard to fight, but that's where Titan just say, well, we can't really kill you, but you can't really kill us because you haven't got your actual damage output stuff. And they're going to go for a trade at mid lane.
Yeah, no, that's true. Now, I want to ask you about Chilling Touch versus Flame Guard. Does that extra damage, does that magical buff get absorbed by Flame Guard and then it is just your raw right click, or does that count as like a physical plus damage?
It should count as magic damage. The magic damage portion is separate to the physical damage. So
okay, so that does get blocked by Flame Guard?
I would
or it
say
should?
yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. In theory, yes.
Yeah, alright. And I worry that also with this Flame Guard build here, just a lot of the damage, I mean, right clicks from the Prophet, right clicks from this Lifestealer. Flame Guard doesn't really keep you alive through that, but I guess Storm does a fair bit of magical damage, as does the Rubik, so still a useful tool.
Once your Flame Guard's been knocked off, suddenly you're not doing that Iron Shell-like damage around you. Like, you want to keep the Flame Guard up during a fight because it gives nice AoE damage.
Yes, very true. That's definitely Definitely worth mentioning here. Tier 1 tower in the mid lane did take some pretty heavy pressure, and even this Tier 2 tower in the top lane is down to about 300 hit points. So if HGT aren't careful, Titan will be able to knock it down in a pretty timely manner. Really, the big breadwinner for HGT is this Weaver right now. He's still just farming away. No Hand of Midas coming out or anything like that, but Ohio will be joining the party. Him and KYXY will be gearing up for a push on this bottom Tier 1.
Yeah, and for Titan, they're happy with how things are going here. They know that Weaver, sure, he's getting some decent farm at bottom lane, but once they get something like an Orchid up on Storm, they can quite easily gank him. Even before then, just with Storm zipping and a Lifestealer infest. Lifestealer, 10-minute armlet to go with his phase boost. Yikes.
Yeah, his farm is very impressive here now. XTT could be in some trouble. Double damage up on Yamate. And he won't go for the Weaver. Instead, he'll just press forward onto the tower. And this should end up being a pretty easy tower kill. Glyph is available. They won't burn it. And Storm will take that bonus gold. There is, however, a Blink Dagger now up on the Centaur, being played by Kaka. We see him on the other side of the tree line here at the top.
That's a fast blink.
But, yeah, he made a really good recovery here. 10.5 minutes is... It's
That's
respectable.
Like faster than we saw last game from Ohio. I mean, sure, he wasn't dying losing his tower, but he was doing a lot more. KYXY has... Oh, he's actually infested into the lifesteal at top lane. They bait in the Centaur here. The Hoof's not going to hit Yamate, but it doesn't hit the KYXY, who's raised up now. Ohio looking for a Sprout, not going to find it right away. And the chase is on. KYXY, who's he going to go for? It looks like he chooses the Shadow Shaman. Probably could have gone for someone else, but I think he wants the easier kill here. Storm goes in, takes the last hit. Meanwhile, AA did die. That was actually at mid lane. Weaver getting a solo kill there. Yeah,
pretty straightforward. Weaver just getting the better of him. He does have 3 points in the swarm, so that bug does kind of a startling amount of damage. It seems like AA just wasn't quite prepared for it. Still a good exchange for Titan across the board. They just lose one of their supports as HGT get their first kill on the board, but Lifestealer gets a little bit more farmed as he finishes off the Centaur, and like you mentioned, Shadow Shaman falls on the retreat. So all in all, Titan's still looking pretty darn good. About a 4,000 gold lead, now upwards of a 1,500 experience lead as they grab some of those hero kills. Weaver will defend down bottom.
Pretty big gold lead to have this early on. Like 11 minutes in, and a very sizable lead. So Titan will be pretty happy with this position of theirs. They're getting some good early game items. Just want their supports at level 6 now. Rubik's there, but AA, no Ice Blast yet online. And Net's actually picked up some Treads. I'm not sure what that's about, but I guess why not? But a bit of extra HP and survivability, but Tread's not really a conventional way to play this AA by any means.
Yeah, I'm really not sure what to make of that one. Usually, I mean, we've seen AAs just go brown boots straight into Egg Scepter, prioritizing that item so much. And AA is a hero that usually isn't really in the front lines and just doesn't benefit from movement speed as much as most other heroes. I mean, there comes a point where AA just sitting in the well, throwing out his ultimate is sometimes a bit more valuable than actually joining the fights and getting some of those right clicks off. So we'll see how it works out for him. But Titan will group up a little bit here in the mid lane. This tier 1 tower very low. It's actually in deny range, so they may just want to finish it off. One of the other good things that they've done in this game is just keeping the Shadow Shaman down. He's only halfway through level 4. Enchantress looking for the deny, and they'll find it. So that will be another tower down. But yeah, Shadow Shaman not having wards is really harboring the early aggression for HGT and limiting how much they can pressure these early towers.
Yeah, both the supports still level 4. This Shadow Shaman still a decent way to go before even hitting level 6. And if you jungle with the Enchantress, it's going to be slow. You almost just need to give Shadow Shaman a solo lane just till that level 6 comes up.
Oh, up top, 1-2-1, diving the tower, will connect with Bolas onto Ohio. There's the blink forward from Kaka. That's an easy kill on the Nature's Prophet. Was any space created? Well, there was some created, but perhaps not enough to knock down a tower, so ends up just being an easy kill going the way of HGT.
Yeah, just take those little pickoffs they can get. They've already lost all their tier 1s, and Titan haven't got the strongest pushing lineup if they want to keep going for tier 2s. They're starting to, at least their early game push is great, but now that it's just a Nature's Prophet and a Lifesteal, they're more focused on the ganking aspect, and that's where they're going to look for XCT here at the bottom lane. Rubik tried to Shikuchi in with a telekinesis. If he gets that telekinesis, Storm zips in with a little package, a surprise inside of him, but not going to be the case here.
Special delivery. We've got a Lifestealer on our hands. There was a teleport from the Nature's Prophet coming in on Pretty Haw in the mid lane, but they'll look to turn it around on the Ancient Apparition. Shikuchi forward from Weaver. That'll be an easy kill coming out, but maybe they can turn it around. XTT will pay for his greed. That makes it a 1-for-1. Weaver for Ancient Apparition, and again, Titan find the better of the trade.
Yeah. Lifesteal then TP's top immediately. He is just getting so much farm. He's picked up a Sanj already to go with this armlet.
Wow.
This is just... His net worth is, it's 7K net
7,000.
worth. That is just insane right now.
Mm-hmm. Experience lead for Titan still holding steady right around 1,500 as it moves up and down, but they're still in control of this game, and I mean, I think they have the carry advantage here with the Lifestealer as well as the Storm Spirit. They're just going to scale a little bit better with items. Ember Spirit is kind of an odd hero in terms of items. He does a lot of damage, but I don't know. I mean, is that safe to say that Titan have a carry advantage here, Gods?
Yeah, I'd agree. I think Weaver's a good carry to have against Lifestealer, but you've got the Lifestealer with an Infest in the Storm. I think Storm is also a good, not so much counter to Ember Spirit, but he's a good way of dealing with him, because part of the problem with Ember Spirit is he's so invincible with all his harass, but a Storm Spirit can jump him from afar with an Orchid. And that's where Ember Spirit is very vulnerable. He gets countered by silencers more than anything, and Storm with an Orchid is the best way of dealing with him. Yeah,
absolutely. And we see them kind of stalking out KYXY here in the top lane. 1-2-1 has got an invisibility rune on Kaka, hiding in the trees, ready to blink forward, and KYXY will step forward. Titan does have support inbound, but the question is, will they get here in time? And
Next thing's here now.
Looks like they will, yeah.
They couldn't kill the Lifestealer. The KYXY is just invincible at this stage of the game. And when he gets to Sanjin Yasha, he gets a lot scarier just because that movement speed gives him extra chasing power and just so much increased damage output because of that chasing power.
Yeah, now, generally speaking, Sanjin Yasha isn't an item I'm particularly fond of, but it works really well in certain lineups when you're looking for a mid-game advantage. And given how tilted this Lifestealer is already, a Sanjin Yasha after the armlet will make him really scary for this kind of like 10-15 minute window between the 25 and 30 minute mark, where Titan will just be looking to put the pedal to the metal and really give HGT a run for their money. Down bottom, yeah, we'll see XTT in big trouble. The Orchid will be enough to secure the kill as Storm zips forward. Now Kaka, he may not survive to tell the tale either.
Yeah, Yamate has a couple bottle charges, but I think he's going to back off now. He's a bit too low on mana. And the backup not quite here yet. Ahayo's nearby. He's actually going for a TP just towards the top lane to keep farming. It's Extinct, though, with a Blink Dagger. Infested Lifesteal on him. Pretty hot. Uh-oh, you're in trouble. Out comes the Lifestealer. Surprise.
Oh, boy. He'll get the Hex off, but won't even buy him any time. 1-2-1 ports in. Flame Guard on, but what's he going to do?
You do not want to fight this Lifestealer.
Yeah. And he'll actually go in on him. And at least takes a couple of right clicks.
That was like one right click did 200 damage there.
Yeah, a little bit surprised to see the Ember Spirit even considering the idea of tangoing with this Lifestealer. He needs to be a little bit careful. There will be a teleport into the Roche Pit, and it looks like Titan will just go for it here.
Yeah, no problem. They've got a double damage on Yamate to even help them out. They don't even need the Lifestealer for this one. That's the best part about it. And they'll leave Lifesteal with Rubik up top, so Lifesteal can actually look for some more kills here.
Yeah, and maybe a tower kill as well. This top tier 2 down to 200 hit points. So if they could get Roche and put some pressure on this tower at the same time, this could be just a win across the map. Sleight of Fist comes in, actually slightly off the mark. It is finally level 4. So at least they're down to that 6-second cooldown and you can start spamming it. KYXY just baiting here, trying to buy time, trying to make his presence known around the map. And, well, his plot will be successful as Roshan falls. And Yamate will grab himself an Aegis.
Yeah. Well, Infest up in 3 seconds, so we can look towards another Infest bomb, or even just Lifesteal looking to initiate an XCT's made his way towards the top lane, and KYXY may just look to start trading hits. Ooh, actually just gonna, okay, just went to steal Shikuchi there. That's worth it for Rubik to show himself. Steal Shikuchi, get out of there. Such a strong spell to have on a Rubik.
Yeah, it's definitely irritating to deal with, especially from Weaver's perspective. There's just nothing you can do against it. Just Shikuchi versus Shikuchi. Oh, boy. This Enchantress, I want to say that she's made a recovery, but ZSMJ is just... he's not even level 6 yet. He's got power treads. He's got himself an urn.
Level 6.
That just hurts. This is a non-factor Enchantress. 0-1-1. I will say at least he's not feeding. A lesser player may have been picked off a few more times, but we'll hold that thought as in the mid lane. Weaver in big trouble. He'll get initiated upon. They'll have that global presence, and the AA ult will make that a pretty easy kill. Orchid, though, the ability that allows them to seal the deal. Ember Spirit will port home, and just barely as KYXY comes in. Could have been a close call, but he does survive. Still, they'll take a kill on the Weaver.
He's got a Sanjin Yasha now. Infest into the Rubik. Anyone who gets found out here is pretty much dead. Chikuchi for this Centaur could be in trouble here. Telekinesis. Yep, there we go. No way out for Kaka. The Rage on the left. Actually, maybe with the Stampede. Never mind.
Wow.
Spoke too soon. Centaur, do not re-engage. You do not want to fight this Lifestealer.
Yeah.
Does have a Blink Dagger, so...
And their support inbound as well. This could be scary if Centaur goes in. No, maybe not. They'll just back out. So that's a nice little combo they had there with the Infest Bomb on the Blink Rubik, who also had Shikuchi. That gives him a nice initiation tool with the Shikuchi, and then can either blink back to safety or just use it to try and escape. I like that combo that they had set up.
XCT once again at this mid lane. He saw what happened last time against the Stormwalker. I'm surprised he's still trying to farm. He's being used as bait here, but there's no good stuns apart from a Centaur Blink Stun. He's entirely relying on that. KYXY gets the rage off here. He's going to go on Kaka, and without a Stampede, he's got no way to stay alive. Yamate goes in, gets hexed up actually. Shackles to follow. Yamate's got Aegis though, and this is where, sure, that was a bit of a misplay from Yamate, but with the Aegis, he may just respawn and go dive and looking for some more kills. Not going to be the case. Actually, Ahayo is pushing bottom lane. He's gone for the good old rat hook, and T2 tower getting very low.
Yeah, he'll go ahead and he'll try and pour it out from the Sprout, but they'll burn the Rosta wards on it, and ends up being an easy kill, though he does force out the Rosta wards, which is a victory in and of itself. The deny comes out, but now Yamate hops forward. Shadow Shaman will be the first to fall. More support joining the fray now. And those Rosta wards doing some damage onto X. He will use that Shikuchi to much avail and does survive. Lifestealer still going ham, trying to finish off that Enchantress, and he'll be successful. Rosta wards still doing a lot of damage here. Infest in 1 second. He needs a target. Rubik Shikuchi's in, and will Shikuchi out.
Infest into a creep
here.
here.
I thought he Shikuchi'd into the
Yeah,
Rubik. Oh, my bad.
That's still got Net here. Net's just hiding in the... This is such a Net play. He hides in trees all day long. Spots like this, he will find them. He was just sitting next to like 3 or 4 enemy heroes, and then he just makes his way out once it's safe.
Wow, yeah.
That's a Net move.
Cute little play from the Rubik, though. I think they were hoping for that Infest into Rubik, but feeling the pressure does just hop into a creep and doesn't
Rubik
even
dies after, then it's like, well, okay, I'm out of the Infest and screwed. So the creep is actually a bit safer there.
Yeah, for sure. But still a cheeky play to use that Shikuchi. I like the way this Rubik plays. I like his style. That very, very brave, I guess, is a good word for that. Just charging back in low health for the good of his carry. That's the kind of support I like to see, Gods.
I think he's realized that at no point have HGT even really had detection this entire game. They've got Dust now on the Shadow Shaman, but I think until this Dust, there's been no detection whatsoever. Yeah,
now we're upwards of a 10,000 gold and experience lead for Titan, and they're just in great shape. As we talked about, they've got that carry advantage. They've kept this Weaver down. He only has an ultimate orb following those power treads, and Basilius looks like he will be trying to grab that Perseverance, so still working towards the Lincolns. His farm isn't too bad, just lackluster compared to that of the Lifestealer, who's about 4,000 ahead of him on net worth, which is a pretty decent margin for 22 minutes in. Even this Storm now, he had a fast Orchid, and pretty darn close to that BKB as well, just waiting for that recipe.
But now it's just tower after tower for Titan. They've got all the tier 2s except one. They'll make this one short work of it at mid lane. And KYXY is just so ridiculously fun. With Armlet, Sand, and Yasha can probably go towards either the Assault Crest or the Abyssal Blade, depending where he wants to go. Assault Crest is a little bit better for the pushing and sieging the high ground. The Abyssal Blade just a little bit better for actual hero killing.
And you know, there's always a problem when you have a Rasta on your team, but you're still not able to take down towers. They've only killed that bottom tier 1, they being HGT. They just haven't been able to put pressure on these towers. Titan have been bringing the fight to them, and honestly, at this stage in the game, anytime you're forcing that Rasta to throw his wards down in a fight, and if he gets a key kill with it, sure, it can be worth it, but if you're stopping him from knocking down your towers, you're doing something right, and keeping HGT in their corner of the map is certainly something that Titan have been benefiting from.
Yamate, he's on the prowl here. He's been on this cliff for some time.
There we go. There's the zip forward. Orchid comes out onto the Weaver, but he does get the Shikuchi off. They don't even reveal the Infest Bomb with Yamate so low on mana. There you go. KYXY will just hop out and go right back to farming. Missed attempt, but still not bad.
Not bad at all.
Just aggressive posturing, making HGT feel nervous as they leave their base. There is something to be said for that kind of aggression.
And it's where HGT, like, nowhere is really safe to farm. But a Storm with an Orchid and the Infest Bombs coming in. Proper now picks up a Necro 3, so that gives Titan the pushing power they need. And I think the main thing they're waiting for is the next Roshan here. Pushing the high ground, always a little bit tricky and risky, especially against an Ember Spirit. No one wants to push into maxed out Sleight of Fist. It'll actually get a bit trickier because he's going to finish off what looks to be a Desolator, so his actual damage output will be a bit scarier. But you've got an Aegis, you've got Necro 3s, you just have a much better time at it.
Now, there was a double damage rune bottled up and actually activated on the Storm Spirit, so perhaps Titan will be looking for an opportunity to engage. They know the Ember is up top, but he'll actually port home. Rasta does put his wards down, and maybe they'll finish off this tower up top. No, the wards get cleaned up. It's a little bit of extra farm going the way of Titan, and yeah, they should be able to secure this deny, or will they? Perhaps not.
Strategically leave. You know, by not denying it, they're denying more gold short term. until it does go down. But if this tower, I mean, theoretically, maybe this tower will never go down. So denying it would be actually hurt them in that sense.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true here. Ancient Apparition has himself that Gem of True Sight and about halfway to level 11. So level 2 Ice Blast, always something to be a little bit more afraid of. There will be a smoke from HGT in the bottom lane, though. So they do want to move out of their base and perhaps make something happen as Titan, well, they've got their sights set on the mid lane.
Titan. It looks like they're going to find a Shadow Shaman, walk directly into them. This could be a pretty easy kill, even just for the 2 supports. And yes, it is. Shikuchi still up for the Rubik. He's had this for a long, long time. And now the Ember Spirit's going to be careful. The Orchid's going to lock him down. He can't actually use his Fire Remnant. And Yamate may get this kill here. The Stampede going out, but it's not going to be enough.
Yeah.
Mahayo helps out with the TP, and he's got Infested Lifestealer inside of him. So
Yeah, Soulburn doing a lot of damage there. And now all of a sudden, HGT, they were in rough shape, but it's just gotten a lot worse over the last few minutes. Now a 14,000 gold and experience lead for Titan. It'll jump up a little bit more as this tier 2 tower in the mid lane falls. And, well, we'll see what that Roche timer is coming up in just a second here as we move into the RNG portion. And a relatively long cooldown here, just about 2.5 minutes. So a little bit unfortunate for Titan. Could have been a fast Roche that they could capitalize on. And, well, might just delay this game by another few minutes.
Yep. I think they could push high ground without Aegis, but they're just like the way they want to play. We saw it in game 1 as well. They want to play safe and just be assured of themselves. Like they're a lot more confident going at this when they actually have an Aegis on their side. Not to mention Lifestealer can finish off his next big item. Same for the Prophet with 2k gold, so you can get something like a Hex on your team. And I don't think Ember Spirit's getting any scarier. I mean, Desolator is a little bit scary, but just Desolator with his phase drums is not going to do enough for HGT.
Yeah, I mean, there comes a point where Ember Spirit will inevitably start to carry a little bit more, whether it's a couple of Battle Furies, a Desolator, a crit. He does start to get a little bit scary, but Titan are so much further ahead in terms of just raw net worth on their core heroes, their Lifestealer, Storm, and Nature's Prophet, that he just isn't quite as scary. Nature's Prophet does have a level 3 Necro Book and another 2,500 in saving, so he's not too close to a Scythe of Ice, but could be an item that he thinks about picking up, and once that's on the board, this Ember is a lot less scary. You'll see Pretty Ha in big trouble as Yamate hops forward, and another easy kill on the Shadow Shaman with that Orchid. BKB is now up on the Storm, hasn't burned it yet, but there you go. That'll be the first charge as Kaka tries to engage on him. He is relatively low on mana here, so won't be able to pursue, but actually forces out a defensive Stampede. Wow, big plays from this Storm.
That fast reaction on the BKB too, really nice response time from Yamate to get that off. So the old veteran still got a few tricks up his sleeve. And
Yeah.
Titan get themselves in an even better position now. Everything just looking good for them.
Yep, continuing to control the map, and Weaver, he's in big trouble here in the mid lane. It's Shikuchi, but yeah, won't be enough to stay alive. They'll catch him with his pants around his ankles, an Ancient Apparition. He'll put that one up on the board. They'll grab a counter ward as well. They've got the gem, still in the inventory of the AA, so Weaver much less of a threat than he once was. They know Roche is coming up in sometime in the next minute, and they'll just station around the pit, and he'll be up in just about 20 seconds.
Yeah, they may as well, yeah, exactly. It's 1 minute maximum respawn time, so they'll just wait around. Deboarding is going on from Titan as well, so they get complete map control as well. That's the 2 supports with a gem picked up, and only now do we see a 27, 28-minute Desolator coming out from 1-2-1. This is just too little too late. He's 1-1-1. He's definitely had the best game as far as this Radiant team goes, but it's still not enough.
Yeah, it comes to the point where HGT, I mean, they only have 4 kills up in 28 minutes, and there comes to a certain point where that's just bad for your entire team. I think a lot of it goes back to this Enchantress getting put down so hard early on. Yeah. Still just 0-2-1, and usually Enchantress is a hero that wants to be very active in the early game, a hero that doesn't scale particularly well, and part of her edge is just getting those early kills, keeping your opponents down, finding an advantage for your teammates in the lanes, and it was the opposite. They've had to dedicate a lot of resources from the Shadow Shaman to keep her safe rather than the other way around, and that just really harbored any early aggression they could put out. Interesting to see this Ancient Apparition go for a Yule Scepter first, and not the Ags. That is...
The Yule's is nice with Cold Feet because it guarantees a Cold Feet proc, but he's got level 1 Cold Feet, so it doesn't really make sense in that sense. They're going to look to catch up 1-2-1 here. He gets destroyed. That's your AA Ice Blast here. And while Centaur, even with the Stampede being used, will not survive. 3-0 trade.
And Shadow Shaman as well. It looked like they just wanted the Ember Spirit, and Shadow Shaman was kind of just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he falls kind of in the mix. Weaver?
Oh, he's just keeping it. He's got an Infested Lifestealer inside of him. This gets Lifestealer straight into the fight. He's got an Abyssal Blade now.
There you go, GG.
This game was it felt like it was over a long time ago, but HGT were just hoping for some mistakes getting back in, but Titan played flawlessly. Like, 2 games in a row, these guys just played perfect Dota.
And I think that's a fair assumption as well. HGT kind of holding in there, still within that realm of, well, maybe if they dive us or they dive the base or do something too silly, maybe we can capitalize and start to turn this game around. But Titan didn't do it, and it felt like a pretty appropriate time for HGT to tap out there. Just a 0-7-2. Shadow Shaman, the Enchantress, only died twice, but just had no impact. That was just a unfortunate game for the Enchantress.
Enchantress got completely shut down. Like Titan, the Nature's Prophet warning to start things off was just got them going, and from there was HGT fell behind and just never found a way to get back into the game.
Yeah, even before that, you mentioned Ohio has a very unique style of Nature's Prophet, and certainly right about that. That unique style worked so well, and well, I wanted to say completely neutered the Enchantress, but that's not proper use of vocabulary.
Not quite appropriate. But guys, that does it for game number 2. We've got another 2-game series also featuring Titan. They're going up against Tongfu in about 30 minutes time. So guys, stay tuned. More WPC Dota 2 action coming your way after a short break. I'm Gods, he's Zayuri. If you want to give us any feedback, support us, follow us on Twitter. Twitter.com/ZayuriTV. Twitter.com/BTSGods.
Be nice. I'm new to this whole Chinese thing. I haven't had too much of that Chinese Dota, but BTS throwing me in. What's the saying? Head first, and Gods is here to teach me the ways of Chinese Dota.
No problem, man. You're not a part of BTS until you truly appreciate and admire the Chinese Dota.
All right, fair enough.
We'll get you on board soon enough. But guys, we'll be back. We'll take a quick break. Well, not so quick. 30 minutes time, I believe, is the scheduled time for Tongfu vs Titan, so stay tuned.